for making it out on this Sunday. I just wanted to point out our core values over there to my right, I guess you all left, I don't know. And one of them in particular, and this has been one of my favorites for a really long time, is human hands solve human problems. I think it is one of the important things to remember these days, that we can make a difference. We have the power to do something, and to emphasize that there's one quote that I came across many years ago, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. It's by Alice Walker. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. So as we're going through the next few years, let's keep that in mind, that however small it might be, we do have power, we do have ways of making a difference in each other's lives, in the greater life, etc. So we have a pretty good program for you today, and certainly hope that you'll enjoy that. First, we're going to start off with music by Mark Towns. Is Mark here somewhere? But before we go into our talk, and that is not your usual community moment and then a main talk after the coffee break, but rather a consecutive talk where we're going to go through Houston Oasis 101, and we'll talk a little bit about the network. Before then, the various individuals involved in the committees come up and talk a little bit about the different committees and what makes Houston Oasis actually work. That gives you a great opportunity to learn more and find ways for you all to be involved in this community. Lunch today is bring your own lunch, so we'll be staying here. Now, if you didn't bring your own lunch, we generally order pizza or something else as well, so I'm pretty sure that's in the works as well. But please come and join us here. Stay after the presentations are over. We'll also have an opportunity for you to sign up for different committees. If Mark is around, is Mark here somewhere? Okay. If not, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going to be going on next week. So we do have we are starting a midweek lunch, and this is something that Jennifer's been working on Thursday, February 13 at Nico's on Montrose Boulevard. It's a little bit later, so it's a little bit of late lunch, 1 o'clock start time. But it's just a great opportunity for you all to hang out, for us to hang out, get together in the middle of the week, and find a little bit more community. So that'll be next week on Thursday. And then the following week, on Wednesday, February 19th, is the Houston Oasis Board meeting. These are online meetings, by and large. You're welcome to join them. Just let us know. We'll send you the Zoom link for that as well. And so as Mark is getting ready, let me tell you a little bit about the absolutely awesome music and the awesome musician that Mark Towns is. He's one of the world's leading purveyors of guitar-based instrumental Afro-Caribbean Jazz, composing and performing music which blurs the lines between Latin jazz, Flamenco Jazz, Salsa, funk, and fusion, with groups inspired by traditional Latin jazz masters Tito Puente, Palmieri, and Cal Tjader. Towns' guitar work, and I probably strangled those names. Towns' guitar work and arrangements combine the technical sophistication of jazz and flamenco with the down-to-earth feel of the blues and rock from his Texas upbringing to create something brand new. Jazz critic Paul MacArthur, Downbeat magazine, said, Mark Towns isn't just playing Latin jazz, he's making sure it continues to evolve. So without further ado, let's give it up for Mark.
Thank you. And after that introduction, I just want to let you know I'm not going to be playing any Latin jazz or flamenco jazz to start off. I will later on today, but today, by the way, February 9th, kind of a important day to me personally. Maybe it is to you as well, but something kind of that turned out to have major significance in my life happened on this day a few years ago. I was born. Thank you. Anyway, I need to update that artist biography to mention that another influence and another thing that I do sometimes is Indian-influenced music, like ragas and just kind of, are you familiar with ragas? Is anyone familiar with ragas? Well, I won't be playing any, but this is inspired by ragas. So it's kind of a music that's been called music that doesn't go anywhere, but music that can take you anywhere. And it's improvisational based, so there's actually no pre-planning to this, so we'll see where it goes, but just invite you to relax and listen. It's made for relaxation. Thank you. Since this is being streamed and recorded, I don't want there to be a permanent record of me playing out of tune. So pardon me for taking a moment, 30 extra seconds to tune up. I don't want to go viral for the wrong reason. Okay, now I am going to do some of the flamenco jazz. This is one of my newer songs. And the drone wants to keep droning. There we go. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark, and happy birthday.
Thanks.
All right, so what we're going to do next is get started to talk about Oasis 101, and we have Alexis Todeman. Alexis, of course, used to be the president of Houston Oasis. She also is currently still the president of the Oasis Network. She's got deep history, and we, after a year break, we coaxed her back on the current board as well. Not president right now, but she's definitely bringing a lot of competencies, history, and just what we need on the board. So, Alexis, you want to come up?
All right, good morning. All right, so part of Oasis 101 is just kind of, we've gotten a lot of new people, a lot of people who come maybe from months ago and don't necessarily know all of our history. And so I'm trying to give a nice kind of condensed version so that you know. All right, so start off with the origin story. So in 2012, there was a group of people who got together at a coffee shop and just kind of started discussing how they left the church, they left religion, but they still miss that community aspect, having people to talk to or go volunteer with or X, Y, Z. And so over coffee, they said, well, why don't we just do that as a non-religious group? Like, why can't we do that? And so a couple of people, some of y'all might know Gary Williams, Natalie Newton, formerly served on the board, were part of this group, and the idea of Oasis was born. So what they ended up doing is they created a Facebook group and added some other people that they knew that might be interested in this sort of thing. And so we have the original texts, if you will. But over the course of a few months, Oasis began to take shape, and but so in that Facebook group is actually where they percolated what to call this group. A few of the options they came up with: the Garden, Galapagos, Progression, Revelation. So we could have been Darwin's Refuge. But there was a clear winner. And during this development phase, they got the name, they said, this is what we want to do. What do you want the community to actually look like? So someone made this comment in that Facebook group of the 6 keys to learning growth are safety, success, love and belonging, fun and enjoyment, freedom and independence, valued purpose. And they wanted everyone to keep it in mind in their thoughts as they planned on how to make the community take shape. Some of you might be looking at that list and then looking at this list and thinking there's some similarity there. But so over the course, these aren't the best graphics, I apologize. But over the course of, at this point, years, you can kind of see how our core values from that have taken shape. We've taken those core beliefs of growth and learning and put them into our core values, and that's something that we have tried to continue on and tried to diffuse and kind of give good, succinct meaning of what it is that our values are and what resonates with us and what we're trying to do at Oasis. And with that, I'm going to start with the Oasis Network. So what is the Oasis Network? Because y'all are here, Houston Oasis, great community, do your thing, and the network is kind of this nebulous blob that you know exists, but you don't really interact with. So our mission is to establish and provide support for Oasis chapters and communities worldwide. We are actually an international group, as we have one Toronto location. Basically, we're kind of the same aspect of y'all. We just are the umbrella organization to help support the communities. And this was established in 2014 when a group from Kansas City Atheist Coalition saw what we were doing here in Houston and said, hey, we like that, we want to do that too. A big reason they were thinking that of, there's a lot of, this is what I don't believe, but there wasn't a whole lot of, this is what I do believe after you leave religion. And that was something that really resonated with them. And bringing back that community aspect as well. So, same slide, I just have to comment on the bottom. But, so currently our board is comprised of different members from the different communities. Right now we have Johnny Grisby, who used to be from Houston Oasis, is more active with Galveston Bay at the moment. Rodney Karen, who runs our Discord server, so if any of you are interested in Discord. We have Oasis Online, which is a branch of the network. We currently have Tanya from Toronto and Jeanette from Kansas City, and it's actually one of my goals to bring on more people from the smaller groups and from other groups, because right now we have 11 communities across 6 states, Texas, Missouri, Kansas, Utah, Virginia, and California, and 2 countries, US and Canada. But right now, mostly on the board, and historically on the board, it's pretty much been Houston Oasis, Kansas City Oasis, and Salt Lake City Oasis. And those are their 3 biggest, so obviously there's more people to kind of bump up to the network level. But it's my personal goal to get more people involved from some of the smaller communities, some of the less well-known communities, and get them more involved so they're represented on the network as well. So we got up here, this is what we're supposed to do. What does that exactly mean? So we are, like I said, the umbrella organization for all the chapters. So we are the governing body that we grant the communities the right to use the name Oasis. And one of the reasons this was bumped up to the network is just to make sure, that there's some consistency across. We try to take as much of let the communities do as much of their own thing as works, but also make sure that they're following values, they're seeking to some consistency, and not that we don't get a snake handling Oasis community. So we grant organization ability to call themselves Oasis. We meet with people who are interested in starting a community, do a lot of talks with them to make sure they have the capacity, they're actually wanting to do this, because it takes a lot of work, not only just to start up, but to keep it running, as all of our wonderful volunteers can attest to each day. So, and we also act as a governance body in case a complaint is brought. So, ideally, the general thing is, if you have a complaint at your local community, bring it to the local board. But what do you do if you have a complaint against the local board? You can kick it up to us. Ideally, we like to see if there can be some problem solving at the local level, but that is something we do here. And we've had actually someone who didn't like the decision the local board came with and came to the network. And so we were able to help kind of arbitrate and come to a good conclusion. And then our goal is also to provide the Oasis chapters with a framework. So we have guidance documents that have largely actually been developed through all of the work here at Houston and Kansas City and even Salt Lake City. So new communities come online. There was a lot of work that went into that, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and so we want to make it as easy as possible for new communities to start up. We don't want them to have to completely reinvent the wheel every single time. So we have our guidance documents, our code of conduct, volunteer agreements, how to do child care background checks. We have all of those documents available for the people who are wanting to start up. So our job is also to bring individual chapters together. So before the pandemic, some of you might remember we had a couple of Oasis cruises. We had Oasis Summit where we were able to get everyone together. They were really fun to get those going. And that's a goal that we have post-pandemic. Kind of like here at Houston, after the pandemic, there was some ramping up that occurred, and there was a lot more focus on building each individual community back up, and there wasn't as much of a focus on network-wide stuff, and so that is something that we are really hoping to start back up again. And we actually have a couple of members from Kansas City and Salt Lake who are really interested on doing like a summit-esque thing where we like vacation for everyone. So fingers crossed we hear something about this soon. But yeah, so, and then something else that we have done is we had a leadership conference back in October, I believe, up in Kansas City. Got to give props where they are. They actually have their own building now, so yay. But so we got to go there. We got to meet people in person, get to kind of just talk to people. That was really great. And then we have also initiated quarterly Zoom meetings to foster connections between the different leadership, because there's something that someone over here is doing that they're like, oh, that's a great idea, we can try it over here, and really kind of start to build that interconnectedness. So that is what we do. That is what we are hoping to do in the coming years. And I think that's it for the network stuff. Yep. Okay. And I will toss it back to Verena.
All right, very good. So then let me go ahead and talk a little bit about the current board of directors. Terry Ismert is our board president. I think she's still on the road. She said she's really active in the acting. Well, she's a theater director. And so they're in the middle of their show right now, and so she's really busy with her high school students. Anybody who can wrangle about 40 high school students to get up on stage and do something has my utmost respect. Jacob is in the back. He's also on the board. I also serve as the VP for operations. Georgia joined us. She's back there. She's in charge of the kids room, and she joined us in January. Abhishek has been a long-time member of the board as well. He's always, any question you have, Abhishek will have the answer. He's absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us today. Jennifer, you can see her in the back there. She's always at the registration table, in charge of the marketing committee, and overall tries to keep us on the straight and narrow. Alexis, of course, you just heard from her. She rejoined us in January, and we're really glad to have her back on the board. And Tim, our treasurer, he's also in the back. He's been on the board for about a year now and has done an incredible job with the finance. And if you ever have any questions about donation receipts or whatnot, he is your person. Or if you want to donate more, he's also the person you want to go to. You can always reach us at board@houstonoasis.org, whether that is questions about what's going on, concerns, or suggestions. Like I mentioned in the introduction, board meetings are on the third Wednesday of most months. My apologies, I did not catch that. N versus R there, at 7 p.m. Online. And the reason it says most third Wednesdays is because occasionally we do try to get together in person for a longer meeting, and that'll be scheduled kind of ad hoc, maybe once a quarter or so, for us to just hash out things in a little bit more detail over a longer period of time. We do live all across the greater Houston region, and so, not having to drive an hour from the Woodlands or Sugar Land or wherever is certainly a convenience, so Zoom is definitely wonderful. If you want to join us for those Zoom meetings, reach out, let us know. We'll be happy to send the link to you. Alexis already mentioned the code of conduct, that is actually living on our website as well as in the Facebook group. We also have a volunteer handbook, and we'll be starting to host volunteer orientations coming up soon as well, and that's going to become somewhat important as we're talking about as we're talking about some of the volunteer committees. We do want to be the fun welcoming hub for a diverse secular community for all ages. You may recall this slide from last year.
which is when the board last year sat together and kind of developed a bit of a 5-year vision. We want to have national visibility and be seen as the prime example for a secular community and be supportive and integral to the wider Houston community, and that means going out and volunteering with a number of different organizations such as the Houston Food Bank, Project Cure, and others. We do a homeless outreach. Abhishek is also one who organizes that, and I think Kelly is involved in a lot of those initiatives as well. And we do want to be financially independent, and we've done, I think, a fairly good job about bring income versus or donations versus expenditures over the last year, so we're in a pretty good position with that. But the fact is, though we are a nonprofit, we are not for loss. If we're operating on a loss, there's not going to be a long time that we can do that, because we do have to make sure that not only do we have the people here to make sure that these meetings work, the AV crew, the folks who organize the speakers, the folks who do a volunteerism and set up the chairs and the coffee, et cetera, and the printing the pamphlets, et cetera. But we also have to make sure that we have the money to pay for the room, for bringing things in, some of our speakers and our musicians as well. And so we do take that very seriously in order for us to be a prosperous community for the long term. This is not to make anybody a billionaire or a millionaire or anything like that, but this is really for the stability of our community. And I think we're doing a pretty good job with that. Before we dive into the actual volunteer committees, what we'd love to do is just break for coffee. After that, we will go ahead and have each one of the different volunteer committees introduce themselves. And then we'll go into the bring your own lunch or shared lunches, where you'll have the chance to talk to each one of the folks who is in charge of the committees and sign up for some. In the meantime, we would love your feedback, and this is particularly important for the committee that develops some of the programming, whether that's events or whether that's the speakers that are coming in. Please use this QR code to take our survey. Tim is also holding it up in the back there on a sheet of paper. Please let us know, what do you like to see, what do you not like to see, and how can we serve this community better. With that, let's take a 12-minute coffee break. Susan? Mm-hmm.
Some of these things have fluctuated over these many years.
Yeah.
And the structure with the bylaws, with meeting with nonprofits, that means a lot.
Okay, yeah, so I can talk a little bit more about that. So one of the biggest things at Houston Oasis, of course, we are a nonprofit organization. We are governed by bylaws that we certainly have written out as well. And one of the important things is, though, we have, amongst the board of directors, we have a president, but it is not the president who goes in and makes decisions. It is really collective decision-making amongst the 8 board of directors members that comes up with new directions, that comes up, how is this community governed? It is very much a distributed leadership, and that is what we like to keep. Just because it kind of keeps everything in checks and balances. The terms of board of directors are limited to 6 years. Those who join the board of directors are initially asked to commit to 2 years. And we generally have, the elections for the board of directors are internal to the board. So in the end of every year, we request, hey, for those of you who might be interested to serve on the board, please let us know. Nominate yourself or nominate somebody who you think should be serving on the board. Now, these board positions we generally want individuals to be committed to Houston Oasis, have a record of volunteering and contributing to the organization. And then the board of directors, the existing board of directors, goes in and schedules interviews with each one of them to make sure that there is alignment in what, what the current board thinks we ought to be working on. And so then we'll go in, we'll vote on it, and ask those who had nominated and interviewed who we thought would be great members on the board to join us. And
So we are not a membership organization.
we're not. And part of it is that we don't, when you look at other organizations that are membership driven, there is a certain amount of donations that might be required for a particular membership level. There have also been organizations, and the reason why this was set up this way was that there were membership-driven organizations that, in essence, experienced a hostile takeover. And that is something that the folks who were on this board, a decade ago, were very well aware of and wanted to prevent, which is why this is a self-propagating board, but certainly drawing from the community, looking for community input as well. If many of you may recall, after we had the interviews for new board members, Terry, I think, mentioned up here, hey, these are the folks we're thinking about bringing onto the board. If you have any concerns, please let us know. All right, now that's going to be a 7-minute coffee break. Just kidding. Let's take a 12-minute coffee break and we'll see you here shortly. set up. We have everything to make this community flow, as well as those folks who are a little bit hidden because they are manning our kids' rooms. So why don't we send a big applause to all volunteers. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through, and I hope we captured all of the committees and teams and people who make things happen. We have the list here: AV team, coffee team, speakers committee, social committee, care team, fundraising, marketing, and volunteer. Ah, kids room as well. It's in here somewhere, sorry. Very good, yes. And so we're going to have the folks who are in charge of that come up here and briefly talk. So AV team, who of you wants to do it?
Okay, sorry, just winging it here. So AV team is, as you can see, sometimes a lot of fun. But I'm always a little embarrassed when you see me because it means something's not quite going right. But it's a lot of work just to set up, plugging things in the right way, testing the sound levels, making sure the musician is happy, and so it definitely is kind of fun, rewarding once it's all working. And if you've ever seen it on streaming on live, that's also our team. Thanks to Abhishek for originally getting this all set up. And it's one of those things, though, that we really need someone to know every week who is going to be here without fail. Because if the AV team isn't here, we don't have a program. Or we have a lot of shouting. Anyway, even a little bit of help is good. There are a couple of people who really just know where things physically go and ask us for, okay, what wire goes to this? We hand it out to them. They know how to plug it in. They know how to help the wire wind it up afterwards. It could be as simple as just that, or it can be as complicated as how do you figure out all the sound levels? So, and how do you make the streaming work? So anyway, it is kind of fun, kind of rewarding, but it does take commitment. We need to have someone here every week.
And Kevin is absolutely right. If they're not here, if this isn't set up, I'd be yelling at you now, and we would not have the experience that we have. But the more people are on the team that are dedicated to making it happen, the better it is, and easier on everyone. And we have the coffee team. Many of you probably enjoy having coffee available. Right now there is, I think, Laura and Steve and Tish and Jim that are kind of switching off. So their commitment is 1 month. During this 1 month, I will be making coffee, and I'll get here early in the morning to get it set up and have the coffee ready by the time the doors open. I think you guys kind of get here around 9 o'clock, is that right? And so if you're interested in contributing to that team to lighten the load and switching off, committing to a month of coffee duty, please go ahead and see Tish. She'll be more than happy to help you get on board with that. I am staying up here for the speakers committee. The programming that you see here, maybe today isn't your favorite, but there are other times when we bring in folks from, like the Kinder Institute. They're going to come and speak to us in a couple of weeks. We had faculty from Rice talking about ants and the way they live their lives, so as well as talk about the arts and sports. And Terry, a couple months ago, organized the sports comedy team to be here for a Sunday. Things like that. That is what the Speakers Committee organizes. And we want to provide interesting, engaging, high quality, diverse as well as community building programming for all of you. Jacob and myself are taking the lead on that. Now, we have generally two opportunities. One is the community moment, and that is a member of the community who comes up and gives about a 10-minute or less talk on a topic of potential interest to everybody. It could be a book that you're interested, that you read, that you found really inspiring, insightful, whatever. We do have speakers' guidelines, and we do, as the committee, sit together to kind of look through what was proposed and decide whether or not we want to put that forth to the community. And then we also have the main talk. I meant to switch that to main talk on the second one here. And for the main talks, those are longer talks, generally 20 to 25 minutes. We want this to be a subject matter expert in that field. Part of it is our recordings are the front door to our community. A lot of people are going to look at these talks on YouTube before they come. So we want this to be high quality, something we can very much stand behind. And so for the main talks in particular, having a subject matter expert speak on something is what we would like to do. Topics of interest, of likely interest to the community, of course, until we hear the talk, we can't really say that. But that is also where that QR code and the survey that we had earlier comes in really handy for us to know who you might be interested in speaking, and that is also where it becomes important to have a diverse group of individuals on the committee who can come and bring in different ideas, different subject matters, things that they're interested in. Some of us are very well connected in the arts or in some of the social impact areas. For me, well, it's very much science and things that I come across. But the more diverse the committee is that sits together and makes these decisions and comes up with the ideas, reaches out to the speakers with, hey, we would love for you to come in, and this is our community, describing who we are, describing what their audience is likely to be, the better the programming is going to be. So certainly would love a few more folks to participate in the speakers committee. Obviously during Bring Your Own Lunch, I'll be here if you have any questions. Social committee. Alexis, Jacob?
All right, so Jacob and I have primarily been organizing the social committee. A lot of it is, bar nights. So one of the things we're wanting to do now is kind of expand that beyond just, bar night. They're fun, they're great, but not everyone is into that. Not everyone wants to stay up that late. I have kids, so 9 o'clock is kind of late for me. If you have an idea for an event, please feel free to bring it to us or talk to us individually or email social@Houston Oasis. It goes to both of us. If you're interested in serving on the committee and helping to organize these events, that would also be great. Or if you just want to do like a one-off event where you're like, hey, I would like to host this mini-series. I can do it at my house, a restaurant, wherever. I'm willing to host. Here are the details. Here's the time. That's also great. We cannot guarantee that it'll be an Oasis sponsor, official Oasis event, but we're definitely willing to hear you and hear your ideas and see what we can do from there.
All right, care team. Jennifer?
So here at Oasis, we like to take care of each other. So we'd like to have a team that kind of has ears and eyes to the ground. If you know of somebody who has a particular care need, hospital, have had a death in the family, an illness, or have any other kind of needs, we like to hear about that. And we also need folks that can help take care of people. So if somebody can get restaurant gift cards or grocery gift cards to help somebody who's at home or needs help some kind of way, we give cards to people sometimes who've had a death in the family or something like that. So basically just care stuff, and the more people we have, the more we can spread that out, and it's not all on just one or two people, which it has been for the last few years. So if you are somebody that really likes that kind of thing, it's very personal, then just please contact us at CARE, and we'll also have a place for you to sign up during lunch. Thanks.
And so over the past year or so, there have been a number of instances where an individual reached out to the care team and said, hey, I could really use some help. Varied very much in what was necessary, but when there is an identifiable need, the care team does reach out to the broader community as well to say, hey, we need help doing X, Y, and Z, and you can get an opportunity, but please remember that the care team is available. If you run into an issue, or if you know somebody here in the community could use somebody from the care team to reach out and for a conversation and to figure out how we can help, please let us know. If nobody tells the care team, they just don't know. And it's always a nice thing to be connected and help each other out. The fundraising committee, I used to be the lead of that, but I've been a bit overwhelmed, so trying to step back from that, and we're trying to figure out who's going to take the lead on that. You heard Alexis mention that Kansas City Oasis has its own building. Not sold that that's the end-all be-all of everything, but when it comes to the fundraising committee, part of the reason why we started this up was to look out a little bit further. What are some of those major opportunities for us to have an impact in our internal community as well as a little bit broader? And so, when Hurricane Harvey hit, right, there was a need to have funds to then go out, send people into the community with fans and bleach and you name it, all those things, not just the manpower, but also have some funds available to really make an impact in the committee, in the community. And so the fundraising committee really kind of looks for opportunities throughout the year to raise additional funds for our community. Let's see, the kids' room should be here somewhere. Oh, I guess we're doing the money talk now real quick. Tim, did you want to? Is Tim here? No. But there are a number of different ways to contribute to Houston Oasis. We have an online portal. A QR code is generally, and a number of different ways on the bulletin as well. Okay, marketing. Jennifer.
Okay, so hopefully y'all have noticed we have a lot of social media. We're doing Facebook, we're doing Instagram, we have a website, we have email, we now have Blue Sky. Yay, Blue Sky. Anybody who's on Blue Sky, look for us on Blue Sky, follow us. Not so much on the other place. You know what I'm saying? We still have that account. We're probably not going to be posting there. But we do need folks that can help post things, and we have a great team of folks who are doing graphics and posting on social media, which really helps us get the word out. If you have any ideas, for anything more, we can have a specialty in graphics or design or something. We'd certainly be happy to use your talents. Rachel Sears has been doing a great job with our graphics. Hope you'll notice that on Facebook and Meetup and all that. She's very clever. If she ever decides to quit her teaching job, she could do something else. So anyway, so that's the standard she's set now, just saying. So anyway, yes, we're all about marketing. We want to get the word out there about our group and who we are, and we are happy to have folks help us with that. Thanks.
You guys also do the bulletins, right? That you see here every Sunday. So they show up like magic. Kids Room.
Hi, I'm Georgia. I am the committee lead on the Kids Room. So we provide a safe and fun space for kids to hang out and be involved in engaging activities during Sunday gatherings. We're here every Sunday. There are always 2 people in there staffing that room. It's going to be, let's see here. Our members are Annie Blug, Chelsea Beach, she's our newest member, Gosha Podeman, and Pete Lippincott. And let's see, we do arts and crafts, we do free play, we have games, sometimes we do movies. We're located over in room 11, so if you just go straight back and to the right, that's where we are. We used to have a really big group pre-COVID, and we're trying to build that back and let families know that they are welcome to bring their kiddos. So, because we want the entire community to feel welcome to come. Let's see here, donations are welcome. Paper towels, hand sanitizer, tissues, goldfish snacks, juice boxes. And let's see here, what else do I have here? If you'd like to volunteer, you do have to go through a background check. That's very important. We do welcome volunteers. And I think that's all I've got. Did I miss anything? No? Okay.
When do you need people to show up for, when do you need people to show up at?
Oh, good question. 9:30 to set up. 9:30, yeah, about 9:30 is a good time. That's usually when Chelsea gets here. She picks up everything and then comes here. Any other questions? Anybody else have any other questions? No? Yes?
I guess what's the age range of kids that typically get?
Pre-K through, because we've had kiddos in diapers. So, yeah, pre-K all the way up to, 17. I think 18 is a little too old. So, any other question? Good question. Anybody else? Doing the teacher wait time. I'm also a certified teacher, so I think that's part of the reason why I took on that role as well. So, I teach art for middle school. Fun times. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay. Give it to Verena.
Yeah, so Kids Room is absolutely amazing, and the work that Georgia is doing, she's absolutely the perfect person for that. Volunteer committee. I was looking for Abhishek, I'm sorry, but Kelly is.
Abhishek couldn't make it, so he asked me to talk about the volunteer committee. So far, right now, it's just Abhishek and I, or me. I'm bad at English. So we meet about once a month online, 45 minutes to an hour, to do our planning for whatever activities we want to do. We try and have an event at least once a month. We're targeting to have 500 hours this year. So if you can come to any of our volunteer events, that's awesome. And if you're interested in being on our committee, you can email at volunteer@houstonoasis.org. I believe we'll have a sign up as well. And then, so our events will be on Meetup and on Facebook. And we usually cross-post the volunteer events with Houston Atheists and Secular Houston, just trying to get as many secular people to events as possible to, make our presence known, show the community that we're here. We're not evil, and people really like the people are more important than beliefs shirt, so we always have great discussions, especially at the food bank when we're working side by side with a bunch of church groups. It's a great opportunity for visibility and to give back to the community. We're super excited about Secular Week of Action. This is a national thing that happens, and April 26th through May 5th. So we're trying to plan as many events during that time period as possible. We need some fresh ideas, because Abhishek and I have been doing this for a while. So if you can join us, that would be great. Let's see, we do all sorts of stuff, the food bank, blood drives, which we just got confirmed for April 13th is our next blood drive here at Oasis in the parking lot, in the mobile unit. We have a food bank event next month I don't remember the date, but it is on Meetup. I believe it's on Facebook as well. And I think on the next slide, there's some pictures of our events. Am I the one moving the slide? Okay. I don't know how to do this. Boop. There we go. All right, so Abhishek put some pictures on there. Just disregard the silly one in the middle. But so we go to the food bank and the unhoused outreach. We're trying to do it like twice a year at least. We'll be doing a donation drive for that through April, and then our next unhoused outreach is going to be during Secular Week of Action. So more information coming about that. The blood drive, Project Cure. We've secured a date for that, but I don't remember. But watch for those dates coming up. And then, of course, Pride. We like to participate in the Pride events. This is a picture from, I think, Houston Pride. But we also do the Woodlands and Katy, looking at participating in Fort Bend Pride, Fort Bend County Pride. It's important to be out in the community, and it's good to be a good person, so help if you can.
When you mentioned the 500 volunteer hours, it made me think of something like a grant where you've got to submit a report at the end of every year. Is there such a thing within Oasis's own?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I think it's just a goal. So, and then,
Just an internal goal.
mhm, as far as I know, yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think that was a quick run through all the things that make Houston Oasis, in addition to, of course, you all being here and participating in it. So that's kind of how the magic all happens, to stay plugged into events, and that's a QR code. Obviously, we have a Facebook group. We have a public Facebook, but then there's also a hidden Facebook group that you have to be invited to, and if you're interested in that, we can make that happen. We post events on Meetup, as well as on our HoustonOasis.org regular website. There's a calendar on there as well, where you can, and it's the marketing team that's been really taking the lead on making sure everything gets posted there. Are there any questions at this time? Or, yeah?
Can I just make a plug?
Sure,
Okay, so I got 9 responses to the survey just now.
just now.
Yeah, so how about me?
All right. That means that there's 41 who haven't responded yet. No, thank you all for those who did respond. That is vital information for us to help. I sure can. I can go. And we're getting ready to hear some more fantastic music. During that time, I can go ahead and put the QR code up there, if I can just go back. Mark, are you ready to delight us with some more?
This time I am ready.
Awesome, thank you. Take it away.
Speaking of QR codes, I have one in the back there, and it's so you can see all where you can find my music, where you can get on my email list. Anyway, I'm going to do a couple more Flamenco Jazz tunes. Somebody corrected me when I played at Anderson Fair one time, and I called one of my instrumental tunes a song, and this old guy comes up afterwards and goes, "That's not a song. Songs have words." So I got to catch myself every time. I still think of them as a song, but it's a tune, I guess, so in case that guy is watching online. So the first one, I'm going to do two. The first one is new. It's not released yet, but it will be. And Hope you don't mind me. Every other time I played here, I've just brought the guitar and nothing else, and just, you know, did solo stuff. But this time I brought my band via recordings that we did in the studio, so they can back me up here. Hope you don't mind. I used to hate that, but it's become a thing. Anyway, this is brand new, and it's called Mirando a la Horizonte. It means look at the horizon. Thank you. And I got one more. This one's called Vista. It's on my, I think it's on the album called Unspoken Invitation. Thank you very much.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Mark. All right, just wrapping it up here. A couple more events are listed on your bulletin. Blues Night, February 20th, and the Oasis Book Club, February 26th. If you're interested in joining the book club, I think Ted's here to get with him. He's always getting the word out and getting everybody to vote on a new book. This month, they're going to discuss Krakatoa, The Day the World Exploded by Simon Winchester. So get with Ted if you're interested in that. Next week, we are going to hear a community moment by Ryan Monceau. He will talk about his experience with exchange students, and I think some of you may remember him talking about the exploding logs as part of our winter get-together. So he'll be sharing hopefully some funny stories around that. When it comes to the main talk, we have literally offered this slot to 5 different speakers. I don't know what's wrong with next Sunday, but we will have additional programming for you for next Sunday as well. Just stay tuned for that. We will also have Krista Jean as a musician will play her blend of soul pop and Americana. So join us here again next week, Sunday. And I think before we close out, Jennifer wanted to do a reading by Alice Walker to help us, stay connected to Black History Month as well. So, Jennifer?
So this is a poem that Alice Walker wrote in 2012, coincidentally the first year of Houston Oasis, although she probably didn't know that. It's called Democratic Womanism. You ask me why I smile when you tell me you intend in the coming national elections to hold your nose and vote for the lesser of 2 evils. There are more than 2 evils out there, is one reason I smile. Another is that our old buddy Nostradamus comes to mind with his fearful 400-year-old prophecy that our world, and theirs too, our enemies, lots of kids included there, will end by nuclear Nakba or Holocaust in our lifetime, which makes the idea of elections and the billions of dollars wasted on them somewhat fatuous. A Southerner of color, my people held the vote very dear, while others for centuries merely appeared to play with it. One thing I can assure you of is this: I will never betray such pure hearts by voting for evil, even if it were microscopic, which, as you can see in any newscast, no matter the slant, it is not. I want something else, a different system entirely, one not seen on this earth for thousands of years, if ever. Democratic womanism. Notice how this word has man right in the middle of it. That's one reason I like it. He is right there, front and center, but he is surrounded. I want to vote and work for a way of life that honors the feminine, a way that acknowledges the theft of the wisdom female and dark mother leadership might have provided our spaceship all along. I am not thinking of a talking head kind of gal, happy to be mixing it up with the baddest bad boys on the planet, her eyes a slit, her mouth a zipper. No, I am speaking of true regime change, where women rise to take their place en masse at the helm of Earth's frail and failing ship, where each 1,000 years of our silence is examined with regret, and the cruel manner in which our values of compassion and kindness have been ridiculed and suppressed, brought to bear on the disaster of the present time. The past must be examined closely, I believe, before we can leave it there. I am thinking of democratic and perhaps socialist womanism, for who else knows so deeply how to share but mothers and grandmothers, big sisters and aunts, to love and adore both female and male, not to mention those in between, to work at keeping the entire community fed, educated, and safe. Democratic womanism, democratic socialist womanism, would have as its icons such fierce warriors for good as Vandana Shiva, Aung San Suu Kyi, Wangari Maathai, Harriet Tubman, Yoko Ono, Frida Kahlo, Angela Davis, and Barbara Lee, with new ones always rising wherever you look. You are also on this list, but it is so long, Isis would appear midway, that I must stop or be unable to finish the poem. So just know I've stood you in a circle that includes Marian Wright Edelman, Amy Goodman, Sojourner Truth, Gloria Steinem, and Mary McLeod Bethune. John Brown, Frederick Douglass, John Lennon, and Howard Zinn are there, happy to be surrounded. There is no system now in place that can change the disastrous course the earth is on. Who can doubt this? The male leaders of earth appear to have abandoned their very senses, though most appear to live now entirely in their heads. They murder humans and other animals, forests and rivers and mountains every day they are in office and never seem to notice it. They eat and drink devastation. Women of the world, is this devastation us? Would we kill whole continents for oil or anything else, rather than limit the number of consumer offspring we produce and learn how to make our own fire? Democratic womanism, democratic socialist womanism, a system of governance we can dream and imagine and build together. One that recognizes at least 6,000 years of brutally enforced complicity in the assassination of Mother Earth, but foresees 6,000 years ahead of us when we will not submit. What will we need? 100 years at least to plan. 500 will be handed us gladly when the planet is scared enough, in which circles of women meet, organize ourselves, and allied with men brave enough to stand with women, men brave enough to stand with women, nurture our planet to a degree of health, and without apology, impossible to make a bigger mess than has been made already. Devote ourselves, heedless of opposition, to tirelessly serving and resuscitating our mothership, and with gratitude for her care of us, worshipfully commit to rehabilitating it.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I think that's a good note to end on. Please stick around for Bring Your Own Lunch. Sign up for one of the committees if you're interested. And overall, have a good, impactful week. Thank you all for coming today.